Welcome to this chapter, and in this chapter you will learn a few things about the German culture, about a few German sites, and about the German food. We are just going to look at a few aspects. Of course, there's much more to talk about and much more to explain, but this is just a start. Of course, I will teach you and show you more things about the German culture and the food and the sites also. But, well, first here, as you see the background, that's winter in Germany. So depending on from which country you come from originally, maybe you do not have those the four seasons. In Germany we do. So we have the four seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And the winter can be quite cold in Germany. And of course it's snowing. Every time or every year it snows like in a different amount, let's say. Sometimes it snows very little, sometimes quite a lot. It also depends on which region. In Germany there are also big differences, and yeah, and as you see here, that's a cozy little town or a village in Germany with those houses. They are called Fachwerkhäuser. The style of houses is called Fachwerkhäuser. There's a little bit snow and everybody is at home, or most of the people, and yeah. So this is what Germany often looks like in winter. Now let's start with the first part, and that are the sites. Just two sites that I'm going to introduce to you in this chapter, in the two sites in Germany, then a little bit about the culture, and at the end we are going to talk about some German dishes. So let's start with the first one. So touristic sites, that is called Sehenswürdigkeiten in German. As you see, a long word, Sehenswürdigkeiten. So let's start with the first one, which is the Kölner Dom. You've probably heard about it already. This dome, or cathedral as it is called in English, in German it's called der Dom, or you can also say die Kathedrale, the cathedral, and it's a Gothic cathedral. Gotisch is Gothic. And as you see, it's here in Cologne. At night, this is the cathedral, the Kölner Dom. Here we have a bridge. I'm going to talk a little bit about this bridge also later on. And as you see, Cologne is a beautiful city. You should see it. The people are very laid back. Like if you compare that city with many other German cities, this city is particularly famous for its carnival, Fasching as we call it in German. There is the biggest carnival in Germany. You will find it in Cologne, and yeah, it's a lot of fun there, and I like this city actually quite a lot. So let's have a look at where that is. So Cologne, Köln we call it in German. It's the federal state, as we call it, das Bundesland. Das Bundesland is the German federal state. We have 16 different federal states in Germany, and Cologne or Köln is in Nordrhein-Westfalen, as you see here, and Cologne is about here. So Nordrhein-Westfalen, and here you can see all the other federal states in Germany. Bavaria, Bayern, you surely have heard about that also. Here's Berlin, and yeah, you can have a look at that. And then every federal state has its own emblem, and this is the emblem of Nordrhein-Westfalen. Even from the past, even towns or cities often have own emblems in Germany. So Einwohnerzahl is this is population in English. So the population in Cologne is 1,075,935 people, about, more or less. I'll just tell you the number in German: 1,075,935. There is a chapter about the German numbers, so you will learn how to say that. A difference between, especially as it is written in the United States. Usually we have a comma here in between. In Germany we put a dot here. Comma we just put if they're like smaller numbers. If we talk, if it's a price, for example, if you talk about the cents, then it would be separated with a comma. Here we put points. It's the other way around than in the United States. But of course, maybe in your home country, it's maybe the same case that we put dots here, just for you to know that. So das Bundesland, just the word, federal state in Germany, this is how we call them. If it's a state in a different country, it does not have to be called Bundesland. Maybe it's called different. Maybe it's just der Staat, which means the state. So it depends. But in Germany, we call them Bundesländer or das Bundesland if it's just one. And das Wappen is the emblem. This is just a vocabulary for you to know. Okay, so here we see the Kölner Dom again during the day. This you see how it looks during the day here. Very famous cathedral in Germany, and yeah, and then you have a river here where many ferries are. You can always go on a ferry, on a ship, and just drive around. So the words here, die Fähre is the ferry, das Schiff is the ship, und das Boot is the boat. Just a few words here for you. And then we have stairs in front of the cathedral, in front of the Kölner Dom, and there are many people, especially during summer, gathering there just to socialize, to sit. We have a lot of artists also, like in front of those stairs that are performing, the street artists who are singing, dancing, and so on. So during summer it is a very social place with many social gatherings in front of the Kölner Dom. So if you get the chance to go there, especially during the warm seasons, you should go there. In the stairs you will see there are always people sitting, and quite often there are also performances. And so here for you the words, die Treppe is the stairs, die Künstler, the artists, and die Zuschauer are the viewers. That are just a few words. So here you have a lot of viewers, viele Zuschauer, many viewers. Then the next picture here, here you have a picture of what the Kölner Dom looks like from the inside. There's just one picture from the windows, very colorful and beautiful, huge windows inside. The cathedral, the Kölner Dom, is a huge building, a huge cathedral. It's really worth going in there and to see what it looks like from the inside and from the outside. Here just the vocabulary. Das Fenster is the window, und bunt means colorful. So bunte Fenster means colorful windows in German. And then there is a bridge that leads to the Kölner Dom that we have just seen at the beginning, in the first slide. And this bridge, we have many locks hanging there. Almost the whole bridge is full of locks, and a lot of visitors who are coming to Cologne are hanging their locks there. And as you see, there are dates or names also. And very often this is for couples that are very in love, and then they put a lock there, and then it means that their love will last forever. They want to keep their love forever. That's why they put a lock there, or you put it there if you. It can be a symbol for luck, for example. People who get married, for example, put it there with their date. A lot of people, visitors, tourists from all over the world, also hang their locks there, and then in hope that their love lasts forever. So most of the time it's about love. And so here you have a few words. Das Schloss means the lock, but das Schloss also means castle. It has two meanings. It can mean lock or castle depending on the context. And then we have another word here, das Glück, luck. So they also put it there in order to have luck, for example. And then the last word, die Liebe, means love, die Liebe. Okay, so, and then we have another site in Germany which is called Berchtesgaden. There are a lot of beautiful places in Germany. The nature is amazing in our country. The nature, and then of course we have museums. There's a lot of culture in Germany, a lot of old culture also. But here, this one, what we are going to look at is called Berchtesgaden, which is a village or a very little town. As you see here, Einwohnerzahl is just 7,662, so 7,662. And Berchtesgaden, this little town, is in the very south of Bavaria. It's here on this top over here. And this is the emblem of Bavaria, Freistaat Bayern. So Bayern, this is how we say Bavaria in German. And also a beautiful state with a lot of beautiful nature. I will make sure to publish a few more slides and also chapters about the German culture and nature and so on, so you can get to know the country a little bit more, not just the language, but of course also to get to know the country a little bit better. So now let's have a look at what we have in Berchtesgaden. And here you see this beautiful nature that we have in the south, and you will find places like that in many places in Germany, not just in Bavaria, not just in the south or in this specifically in this town. You will find it in a lot of places in Germany. So here, as you see, the air over there is super clean. A lot of people come there just to breathe. The air is clean, the nature is beautiful. The summers are really great there. You see here we have a boat, so people are swimming there in the boat. So you can of course also go swimming directly in this lake. So here you have some words. Der See is the lake and der Berg is the mountain. So we have a lot of mountains and a lot of lakes there. Der See und der Berg. Okay. Then another picture of the same town. As you see here, this picture is very famous. If you look it up Berchtesgaden on Google, for example, you will typically see this picture. This is very famous for this little town. And here we have a church, and it's called Die Kirche in German. As you see, with beautiful mountains everywhere and little sweet restaurants with typical German food. And it's really worth going there, especially in summer. In winter, of course, you can go skiing or snowboarding. It's also a great place for winter sports. And then here another picture from the mountains there, but basically everywhere in Germany where you have mountains, you will find those little huts like here, little cottages. This is very typical for Germany. We have them quite often. Either they are, for example, hiking clubs that are hiking through the mountains. A lot of people go to the mountains there to hike, and then they stop there, would eat there, or of course maybe somebody owns it. Even people who live there, farmers for example, who live in the mountains. We also have that in the Alps quite often with cows and goats and so on. They give really great milk and cheese. It's you cannot compare it with what people usually buy in stores, because it's just fresh from the mountains, and it tastes really great. And yeah, so you can find those huts quite often in the mountains where people would stop and eat or live, for example. So here you have a few words just to learn. Die Aussicht means the view, so there is a beautiful view from the mountains. Die Aussicht, die Landschaft is the landscape, die Hütte is the hut, und die Natur is nature. So there's a beautiful nature in Germany, which you will see, or maybe you have seen that already. And okay, so that was the part about the sites in Germany. Just to, of course, there are countless sites in Germany, but just to start, there were 2 sites, and let's continue with the next one. A few things about the German culture. We say die Kultur in German, the culture, female word, die Kultur. And a few things that we have here on the right side, as you see: privacy, punctuality, and work. Now that are like typical stereotypes what people hear from Germans, but actually it's quite true. So it's nothing that somebody has just thought up. It is actually quite true that this is part of the German culture. So here we have the Privatsphäre, which means privacy in English. And Germans, they cherish their privacy quite a lot. And it depends on from which country you are originally. Maybe you come from a northern country, maybe from Northern Europe, or maybe from another place in Europe, which is like more in the north. But if you are not, then the German culture can appear a little bit cold to you. As I just said, it depends on where you originally come from. For example, I spent quite a lot of time in Latin America because I partly lived there also, and the cultures are very different. Also, like compared to Asia, Germans, for example, don't like physical, like this touching that you often see in Latin America, for example, that people hug a lot and just touching while speaking, for example. In Germany, we don't really have that, unless it's maybe there is a family member and so on, but just with friends that we just met somewhere, for example, or in general, like touching, for example. We do not have that much. It's not that obvious in Germany. We have a lot of foreigners who live here, of course. That's a different thing than if people, for example, we have a lot of people from Turkey in Germany. That's a completely different thing because the culture is different. But the Germans, let's say, real Germans, they would not. They would not necessarily be that touchy. So privacy, also in the evenings, for example, this is what a lot of tourists see, that if you are in the smaller towns or villages, or not big cities like Berlin, for example, but the smaller towns that are typical German, around 5 o'clock, if it's maybe fall, when it gets darker earlier, then around 5, 6 in the evening, people will not be on the streets anymore. For example, they're sitting at home, they close the curtains, and then they just enjoy their privacy with the family, just do their things, like reading books and so on and so forth. So privacy is quite important to Germans. Also coming very close. There are cultures where people, when they meet, they get very close and speak to each other, like face to face, very close. In Germany, we don't really have that. There's always like some private space that people need. So it's better not to come too close because some people could feel offended then in their privacy. So it's always when you meet Germans, yeah, maybe you should first like get to know the culture slowly because the culture here is quite different. But as I said, depending on where you originally come from, maybe your culture is actually very similar to the German one. Okay, so the next part, here we have the Pünktlichkeit, which is the punctuality. And yeah, this is another typical stereotype, what people think of Germans, but this is actually really true. So punctuality is very important for Germans, and to respect their time, this is what they expect from others. So even if you meet your friends, usually like if it's a business appointment at work, their punctuality is a must. There is no question about it. But even if you meet with friends, they expect you to be punctual. If you come 10 minutes too late, often Germans would be already a little bit annoyed about that, or quite annoyed. So it's good to be on time. If you are new in Germany, if you make German friends, it would be good to be on time. You cannot do anything wrong with that, because most of the time they will be punctual also. So Pünktlichkeit, punctuality, is very important in Germany. Then the next one, die Arbeit, work. The German work ethic is very famous, and it's yeah, it's really true. Germans love to work, or a lot of Germans live to work. This is what I always, when I talk to people when I'm abroad who have lived in Germany, this is what they very often say. The Germans, they live to work, and they don't really live that much to enjoy. That are typical stereotypes. Of course, everybody is different. But now, when to the places where I've been in other countries, it was obvious that like the work ethic not in all countries, of course, but in quite a few, that the work ethic was not like in Germany. For Germans, work is very important, and when you meet somebody, within a few minutes or maybe after a few sentences, people will ask you, what do you do for work, what do you do, and how do you make your living, and so on. So this is quite a big part of the identity, but it's probably everywhere. Like that people identify themselves with their work. But even if you, for example, in Germany, when you are in the supermarket and you line up to in order to pay, the workers, the cashiers at the in the supermarkets are super fast. So sometimes I really have to get used to that again. So you even like you're not even ready packing all your groceries into your bags and or plastic bags and so on, and they're asking you already to pay because they are done with their work. They do it super fast, a little bit machine-like, and they're super fast. And I know I've experienced it in some other countries. It's absolutely not like that, but Germans take their job quite serious. But as I said, of course, not everybody. Of course, there are also people who do not like their job or who don't take it that serious, but you will see that very often. You will see that quite often in Germany. And then the next part, it's about the German food, Deutsches Essen, German food. Now let's have a look. Of course, we have a lot of dishes in Germany, and like the eating behavior has quite changed in the last years in Germany. The traditional German food is quite heavy, so Germans eat quite a lot of pork, traditionally potatoes, a little bit greasy and heavy. This is the traditional food. However, it has changed a lot. Nowadays, people eat a lot of, we have a lot of vegans or vegetarians in Germany. In big cities like Berlin, for example, you will find many vegan or vegetarian restaurants. People prefer eating light nowadays in Germany. Organic food is very important, and they really watch out for their health and for their nutrition. So here, and this, what I'm going to show you, that are like the typical traditional German dishes. As you see here, appetizer, main dish, and dessert. I have just one example for each of those three parts here. Of course, we have many more, and I will make sure that I show you more than that. But let's just have a look to start. So the Vorspeise is the appetizer. And there are quite a lot of appetizers in Germany, but let's have a look at one, and that is the Kürbissuppe, which is the pumpkin soup, as you see here. Germans like soups, especially in winter when it's cold. We have a lot of soups like chicken soup, tomato soup, which are internationally known everywhere. So that doesn't mean that they were invented or cooked for the first time in Germany, but this is what Germans like quite a lot. Pumpkin soup with oranges, sometimes also just pure pumpkin soup, and then we have quite many soups in the German kitchen. So der Kürbis means the pumpkin, and die Suppe means the soup. As you see here, a pumpkin soup as an appetizer. Then the next part, it's the Hauptspeise, the main dish, and I've chosen one that I like a lot. Maybe you know this one already. It's called Knödel, and Knödel are most of the time made of potatoes or of bread. It depends on, we have different types of Knödel, and as you see, there are little balls here, and usually we eat them with a special sauce. We have different sauces, Jägersoße and Pilzsoße and so on. And so here you have a few words. So die Soße, you can write it either this way or that way, and it means sauce. Die Kartoffel is the potato, and das Brot is the bread. So sometimes it's made of bread, sometimes it's made of potatoes. These ones here are definitely made of potatoes. Going to look at some that are made of bread. So this is a typical German dish. Here we also have Knödel, but these ones are with Gulasch, as we say in German, das Gulasch, or Gulasch here in English. So here with meat. These ones here are made with bread, and then some herbs also in them. They are very good and tasty. You should definitely try them when you come to Germany. Maybe you are here already. And here another one. that are also Knödel, but these ones are with the meat filling. So we have meat in here, and then the famous Sauerkraut. That's Sauerkraut. Maybe you've heard of that already. And here, just a few words. Das Fleisch is the meat, and die Füllung is the filling. So we have them either with filling. Most of the time they do not have a filling, and either they are made of bread or they are made of potatoes. These ones are kind of dumpling here actually, because they have filling inside. Okay, so that was just one German main dish. Here we have, we're going to have a look at the dessert. Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte. Schwarzwald, this is the Black Forest in Bavaria. Kirschtorte is the cherry cream cake, as you see here. Very German and very famous here. Everybody knows it, and it's really tasty, but a little bit heavy. It has a lot of calories, but it's really worth eating it. And so here we have three different words for the English word dessert. Either you say der Nachtisch, you can say die Nachspeise, or das Dessert. We have those three words for that. Nach means after, Tisch means table, so after table, if you want to translate that. Nachspeise is like the after meal, and das Dessert as in English the dessert. So we have three different words. We use all three equally. And then here you have a piece of Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte. So here you see it is made of chocolate and cream and cherries in here. And so here we have the word die Torte. This is the cream cake. We have many different cream cakes in Germany. And so not just this one. And we make a big difference between Torte and Kuchen. So Torte is always with cream, and Kuchen is just the dry cake. Well, what means dry cake? But without cream. It's der Kuchen, und die Torte is with cream. Die Sahne is the cream. Die Kirsche is the cherry. I hope you remember the word that we looked at in before. There was a word that is Kirche, die Kirche without an S. Kirche means church, and Kirsche means cherry. So there's a difference. Please don't confuse them. They sound almost the same. And then ein Stück Torte means a piece of cream cake. Ein Stück Torte, ein Stück means a piece, and then you have Torte, which is the cream cake. So that was the chapter about the German sites, culture, and food. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit more about Germany and its culture. And by the way, Deutschland means Germany, in case that you don't know. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. And yeah, then let's continue with the grammar. Cheers!